Hello and welcome to another edition of Echo at Africa, brought to you by Channels TV, Deutsche Welle and KTN. I'm Neo Taigbe in Port Harcourt, the river state capital in South Nigeria. And hello to my colleague Joy in Kenya.
Oh, thanks, Nyota. I'm Joy Doreen Bira. Welcome. And of course, this is the show where you sit back and relax as we bring you the latest environmental topical issues. This is what we have coming up for you on the show today. We'll show you a passion fruit cooperative that brings women into work in Uganda, how forests in Cameroon are being protected by local activists, and why bears in Romania are foes and friends at the same time.
So we begin in Botswana. There is a lodge there. Now, the lodge is located in the Chobe National Park and is more than just a place for visitors to stay. It also trains rangers. Tourists come to see the animals, but if left unprotected, the wildlife could die out, and so would tourism. The lodge takes special care of giraffes, just to protect them. Let's go see how they do this.
The Chobe River in northern Botswana forms the country's natural border with Namibia. While fishing and agriculture dominate on the Namibian side, Botswana has put its side of the river under protection. That was 50 years ago and made Chobe Botswana's first national park. Early morning is perfect for watching wildlife.
The night light on the sky, beautiful.
70,000 jobs in Botswana depend on the tourists who visit the country's wildlife reserves. But for Gobi Mochidizi, working as a park ranger is much more than just a way to earn money.
The national park together with the animals means everything. It means everything to Botswana. That's tourism. So conservation is the most important thing. We have to love our animals. We have to protect the environment. And I'm happy to be one of those people that do that in our country.
The high-pitched whine of an electric motor. This game viewer is one of the first electric safari vehicles on the African continent. And besides e-cars, Chobe Game Lodge also boasts a fleet of silent solar-powered boats. And besides that, it's also managed to cut down on 95% of its waste and garbage.
Running ecotourism and focusing on it is going to be paramount. Your traveller these days are becoming also more responsible, and they would like to make sure that if they do go on holiday, that they do support sustainable holiday destinations and operators.
With 2 million visitors every year, Botswana's tourist industry ranks second after diamond mining. Conservationists around the world commend its complete ban on hunting and fierce stance against poaching. Across Africa, hunting and the growing human population are forcing wildlife out of their natural habitats. Many of the most fabled species have been driven to the brink of extinction. Conservationist Robert Sutcliffe, who collaborates with the Chobe Game Lodge, is worried. Even in Botswana, road construction poses a serious threat to wildlife.
One of the main reasons is habitat loss. A lot of development throughout Africa, a lot of areas being logged for wood, areas being cleared for farming, and then development like we're seeing in Kasani, sort of pushing these animals out of the areas that they normally inhabit.
In 2012, Chobe River and its national park became the centre of the Kavango-Zambezi Trans-Frontier Conservation Area. This is the home of 1/4 of the global population of endangered African wild dogs. It's Africa's largest reserve and spans 5 countries. The aim? To enable animals to migrate naturally and freely. The effort has paid off. While giraffe numbers are dwindling in other parts of Africa, here they're still numerous. Combining ecotourism and conservation is helping the species survive. Robert Sutcliffe thinks Chobe National Park is on the right track.
that it's so important that we work to try to conserve this population, that this could be a stronghold for giraffe. And it's also amazing to see them moving into Zimbabwe, moving back into Botswana, and there's just no barrier to their movements there, which is wonderful to see.
At roughly 5% of GDP, ecotourism is still in its early stages in Botswana. But the sector is growing fast, providing a steadily increasing contribution to the well-being of the country and its people.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, we're not talking about banana here, but let's go to Uganda, where a young school dropout became a passion fruit farmer in just 6 months and began to run his own farming business. Yes, indeed. Eric Kaduru and his wife Rebecca, they never thought they would one day run a social farming business. So far, they've trained 1,700 young girls from rural areas and empowered them to become passion fruit farmers as well. And guess what? They're also helping the environment along the way.
Farming is a female-dominated sector in Uganda. These girls are school dropouts who are being given a second chance. The social enterprise CAD Africa offers them 6 months of training in passion fruit farming. Eric Kaduru and his wife Rebecca want to empower women from rural areas.
We're creating social change. We're having people view agriculture as not just a chore or that subsistence farming. They're starting to look at it as a business. So aside from teaching girls life skills, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, they're looking at different ways that they can view agriculture, which is a simple thing to get into if you own a small piece of land, as a business.
The girls use land that Eric has leased from a church. He acts as a middleman, connecting them with local markets. Transporting and selling in bulk allows CAD Africa to operate a profitable business. 4 years on, over 50% of its funds are self-generated. The rest comes from local donors.
We have 3 sites launched at the same time, and 3 sites graduate from the curriculum. They continue their agricultural classes for the next 3 years, and we launch 3 new sites so that these guys can start. So it's like a continuous cycle of girls coming into the program. We currently have over 1,700 girls who've gone through the program. We have around 700 active girls right now, but the ones who've gone through the program are still participating in growing passion fruit and selling it to us.
The girls use mainly organic fertilizer. It's easier and more affordable, and it's environmentally friendly. Prior to joining CAD Africa, Kengiza earned only $3 per month. Now she makes up to $50.
I plant passion fruits with CAD Africa's support. I've started harvesting and I'm saving money in a savings group with the other girls. When I get my portion of the money, I'll start my own project. I'll go into farming or branch out into different businesses like retail to support myself.
The girls are encouraged to grow not only passion fruit, but also other crops, such as beans, onions and snow peas. Mixing crops is beneficial to the soil quality. The project also helps improve the reputation of agriculture here in East Africa, which isn't great.
The biggest challenge is obviously, the stigma in the village that farming is for peasants. But when you look at the reality of the situation, everyone has to eat. So if you're the farmer providing the food, you will be supplying the people. So changing the mentality of people in rural areas to view farming as a business and not as a chore is still our biggest challenge.
This part of western Uganda gets plenty of sun and rain, ideal for growing passion fruit. Handing out seedlings to the families means the whole community gets involved. There are approximately 19 million hectares of land available for agriculture in Uganda, and less than 1% is dedicated to fruits and vegetables. Uganda is ripe for passion fruits and eco-farming.
From the fields of Uganda, we move on to cold Germany. How can houses be insulated to use less energy? The small village of Finsterworld wants to blaze some trails. What are the town's residents doing there? Joy?
Well, there are already a few people here who have renovated their homes. They took some of their neighbors on a tour in a -7-degree weather to show how they too can make their houses more energy efficient. They braved the elements to help the environment.
Wir sind die Sänger von Finsterwalde.
Finsterwalde was always famous for its music. But since 2013, the residents here in eastern Germany have had a new project. They want to cut their CO2 emissions by 20%. Houses across the whole town have needed refurbishment. They take a quick stroll around the town to see how far along their neighbours are.
We need to make a lot of little changes to reduce energy consumption effectively here in Finsterwalde. The city's built from very old materials. 70% of them date back further than 1918, which tends to make energy consumption higher.
Each individual is responsible for making their own house more efficient. They get financial support from the town and from banks. The local bookshop has already completed the transformation.
We exchanged all the spotlighting for LEDs. You could see a kind of haze around the old lights from the heat build-up. That's completely gone. It's much cooler. And no one has to climb up the ladder to change the bulbs anymore either. They've been working for 3 years and give a nice light.
This thermal imaging camera directly measures how much energy the lights save. The shop owner had to fork out 2/3 of the renovation costs himself. That's €2,000. But he saves €1,000 a year on his energy bill. The next stop is a fishing store. There are many lakes and rivers in the area surrounding Finsterwalde. Gerald Julper was immediately enamoured with this derelict industrial building.
The way I'm using the shop now is ideal. I've got high ceilings, they're over 7.5 metres, so I can put on a better display for my customers.
But heating these huge rooms was near impossible. The windows and doors were also not properly sealed. Now they're insulated, and an energy-saving radiant heater hangs from the ceiling. The stroll ends at the Finsterwalde cinema. It was in dire need of a revamp, but until now, the family who runs it didn't have the money.
It's not easy to get hold of this energy-saving equipment privately. It costs more, so it can be a big drain on your funds. We're doing our best to motivate people and introduce as many subsidies as possible.
The cinema's owners couldn't afford to replace the roof, which was built in the 1970s and needed expensive soundproofing. It was also badly insulated. Now the town's given them money for the repairs. So cinema-goers no longer have to freeze. And that's not the only advantage.
It's great for the environment that we've saved all this heat from escaping. We also need to keep the coming generations in mind.
The proud residents of Finsterwalde have already managed to cut energy consumption by 16%. But the show's not over yet.
Nairobi National Park is so close to the city limits that animals sometimes wander onto its streets. And if one of them happens to be one of the park's 36 lions, the situation can get pretty tricky. To protect both the big cats and humans, an animal welfare organization is tracking their movements with some high-tech help.
Did you know that tracking lions can save the lives of both humans and animals? Just 7 kilometres from the city centre, Nairobi National Park is home to abundant wildlife including giraffes, wildebeest, zebras and 36 lions. But when lions stray from the park, they might attack people living close by, so human lives are threatened. Because of this, last year, one lion had to be shot. Now the Park Authority, Kenya Wildlife Services, has fitted the most active lions with radio collars. The collars transmit data to the conservationists in real time. That way they can track the animals' movements. If lions leave the park, the rangers can intervene in time and turn them back. That should prevent conflict between humans and lions, saving lives on both sides.
Do you like that? If you're also doing your bit, tell us about it. Visit our website or send us a tweet. #DoingYourBit. We share your stories.
From the national park in Kenya to the mountains in Eastern Europe, Romania's Carpathian Mountains are vast, wild, and full of brown bears. There's so many of these large predators that over the last decade, hunting them down has grown into a multi-million euro industry. But now, Romania's Environment Ministry has banned it. The decision has divided the country. Why is that, NT?
Well, Joy, city dwellers support the ban out of concern for the animals, their welfare. But those who live in the countryside fear that there will be increased attacks on livestock and people. Our next report poses an interesting question. Is the brown bear a friend or a foe?
These forests in Romania's Transylvania region are home to Europe's largest predator, the brown bear. Gamekeeper Attila Chiki and his colleague drive to one of their hunting stands. In this forest, they often used to spend days lying in wait with wealthy clients who wanted to take home a bear skin. And then suddenly, one of the animals appears.
He's 8 or 9 years old, a large male.
The bear is focused on this heap of garden waste that the hunters use as bait. Customers used to pay 7,000 euros to shoot a bear this size.
It's a huge loss for us that these predators can no longer be hunted. That costs us important revenues we urgently need for our land. Many of us are afraid we'll go broke.
Bears are among many animal species that are protected in the European Union. But due to a legislative loophole, hunting in Romania had developed into a multi-million euro business. In late 2016, the Romanian government banned trophy hunting, enraging the hunting industry. The hunters claim that the bear population has been growing and that they're finding more and more bear tracks outside the forests. The hunting ban has support in the larger cities. But in the countryside, bears can be a threat to humans and livestock. They're not fussy about their food, especially when they're hungry. A few weeks ago, a bear killed animals belonging to this farmer.
First he tried to come through the window. Here you can see the marks from his claws. That didn't work, so he destroyed the door and attacked my cows.
Humans share responsibility for the attacks. Many villages border the forest, and residents often dump their garbage outside. The omnivorous bears see that as an invitation to a meal. Many of the garbage containers are now kept in cages like these. But even that measure doesn't always help. Here, a bear has torn away the concrete foundation to get to the loot. Romania's hunters say the threat will increase now that the government has forbidden bear hunting.
The effect is that bears lose their fear of humans because they're no longer hunted. That can have bad consequences.
Many of the hunters are angry at this man. Leonardo Boretsky is an animal rights activist and bear expert who helped get the ban passed. He says all the talk about dangerous bears is just fear-mongering.
They are very, very calm and balanced animals from many points of view. And this is proof that in many areas in Romania where bears occur in the cities, where bears come to garbage dumps, there are really so rare those incidents where bears attack people. I think it's much bigger threat the car who is running at 1 meter from us every day.
Leonardo is running a bear rescue center. He's convinced that the hunters are mainly upset about losing their multi-million euro business. People from all over the world want to hunt bears, and the Romanian hunting associations charge 3,000 to 8,000 euros for the coveted trophies. The hunters maintain that the numbers are out of control. They want permission to kill up to 100 bears per year to regulate the population. And they say that the ban only encourages illegal poaching. But for now, all they can do is learn to live alongside Europe's most powerful predator.
Being in Port Harcourt, you get to see plenty of mangrove swamps. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about protecting forests in West Africa, which sounds like it should be a straightforward task, but it's a huge challenge. Around 40% of Cameroon alone is rainforest, but illegal logging and hunting are putting biodiversity there under pressure. This week's eco-hero is fighting his own homeland to protect trees.
So we are putting the tree
Emmanuel Wirzi does what he loves most. He teaches young Cameroonians about the value of the Oku forest and how to maintain its most basic asset, the trees. The environmentalist heads the Cameroon Gender and Environment Watch, NGO. His main goal? To preserve the forest for future generations.
If some of the trees are cut down, or some of the plants are eaten by goats, what happens is that you deprive the ecosystem of a certain plant that could be necessary at that time, because bees would have surely depended on it for flowers. But the more those trees or those herbs are destroyed, the more the bees starve, because there will be a period when they will not have food.
Emmanuel Wirzi shows the benefits of beekeeping to local residents. Bees don't only pollinate the plants in the forest. Oku forest bees produce a unique white honey that fetches a good price. For the residents, it's a fairly cheap and easy way to make a livelihood. And beekeeping means they can make use of the forest without destroying it.
I know the bee farmer will help me because I always use the honey for myself, and then I even send some to my children outside to help them where they are being.
Wirzi makes space for new trees. The Oku forest is still the largest mountain forest in West Africa, but it's under threat. Over the last 2 decades, half of it has been cut down and turned into agricultural land. By explaining the benefits of the trees, Wirzi hopes to motivate local youth to care for them.
This is a big tree of, we call this tree Noxia congesta, and it produces much of the flowers that helps in the production of Oku white honey. And you can see this tree has suffered from bushfire.
Wirzi and his family live in Bamenda, in the valley below the Oku forest with its mountainous terrain. Besides harvesting honey, planting trees and protecting the forest, his organisation tries to create entrepreneurial opportunities for women.
Then we train women on micro businesses, how to run a micro business. It should be a micro business because we want to encourage women to do something to at least to scale up their standard of living.
Emmanuel and his NGO face many challenges, from funding to ethnic differences, lack of government support, even just getting bogged down in mud. He hopes that the young people might take up the cause and takes them to the forest as often as he can.
The picking of the seeds and the nursing of the seeds is done with the children. We want to prepare future nature lovers.
He dreams that young Cameroonians will add centuries of life to this ancient forest, and his efforts look promising. Emmanuel Wirzi's team has already planted over 60,000 trees, and they intend to keep going.
That's all we have time for today. We hope you enjoyed the show, full of environmental topics. Yes, indeed. Goodbye from me, Neo Tagbe, here in Port Harcourt, River State, Nigeria, South.
Thanks for watching Eco at Africa, a European and Pan-African magazine. Bye-bye from me here in Nairobi, Kenya. I'll see you next week with new exciting videos.